Some words are easy to translate. Hello, thank you, goodbye. But every language also has words that are almost impossible to translate perfectly. You can explain them, you can describe them, but there is no exact equivalent in another language. Hebrew has many of these words, and they reveal something very interesting about Israeli culture. Today I will teach you 7 Hebrew words that don't really exist in English, and once you understand them, you'll understand Israelis a little better too. Shalom, I'm Sasson, a native Israeli, and this is Hebrew with Sass, where you learn Hebrew the way Israelis actually speak. Today we're exploring Hebrew words that don't translate perfectly into English. Let's start with one of the most famous ones, Chutzpah. 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 You may have heard this word before. It actually exists in English today, but it originally comes from Hebrew and Yiddish. It means something like boldness, audacity, nerve, but there is an interesting culture difference. Outside of Israel, Chutzpah is sometimes seen as a positive quality, someone who is bold, confident, even impressive. But in Israel, it's usually negative. It describes someone being rude, disrespectful, or crossing the line. For example, יש לו חוצפה. He has some nerve. יש לו חוצפה. יש לו חוצפה. Maybe someone interrupts a teacher, argues aggressively, or behaves disrespectfully. An Israeli might say, wow, איזה חוצפה. Wow, what nerve. wow, איזה חוצפה. Wow, איזה חוצפה. This is a very Israeli culture word. Firgun. 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 It describes the feeling of genuinely being happy for someone else's success. No jealousy, no competition, just sincere support. For example, מגיע לו פרגון. He deserves recognition. מגיע לו פרגון. מגיע לו פרגון. But Israelis also use the verb form very often. לפרגן. 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 Which means to show that support or appreciation to someone. For example, אני מפרגן לך. I'm happy for you. אני מפרגן לך. אני מפרגן לך. If your friend succeeds or achieves something big, you give them firgun. This word describes a very Israeli communication style. Dugri. 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 It means speaking honestly and directly, without sugarcoating things. For example, אני אגיד לך דוגרי. I will tell you honestly. אני אגיד לך דוגרי. אני אגיד לך דוגרי. Israelis are famous for being very direct. Sometimes it can feel blunt, but most of the time, it's simply meant to be straightforward and sincere. This word is extremely common in everyday conversation. Tachles. 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 It means something like bottom line. Let's get to the point. For example, תכל'ס, מה אתה רוצה? Bottom line, what do you want? תכל'ס, מה אתה רוצה? תכל'ס, מה אתה רוצה? If a conversation goes on too long, someone might say תכל'ס, meaning, okay, let's get to the point. This is a very unique Hebrew expression. תתחדש. 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 You say this when someone gets something new. A new phone, new clothes, a new car. For example, קנית טלפון חדש? תתחדש. You bought a new phone? תתחדש. קנית טלפון חדש. קנית טלפון חדש? תתחדש. 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 Or if you are talking to a female, קנית טלפון חדש? תתחדשי. 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 There is no single English word for this. It's like saying enjoy your new thing. But Israelis say it all the time. This word is incredibly common in Hebrew. Stam. Stam. It can have several meanings depending on the context. Sometimes it means just kidding. For example, אני צוחק, סתם. I'm joking, just kidding. אני צוחק, סתם. אני צוחק, סתם. But it can also mean for no reason, just because. For example, למה עשית את זה? למה עשית את זה? למה עשית את זה? סתם. Just because. סתם. A very small word, but Israelis use it constantly. The last word, Stalbet. 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 This is one of those Hebrew slang words that doesn't have a perfect English translation. It's often used when people are relaxing, hanging out, doing something in a very easygoing way. For example, אנחנו בים, בסטלבט. We're at the beach, just relaxing. אנחנו בים, בסטלבט. אנחנו בים, בסטלבט. But the word can also mean something slightly different. Sometimes Israelis use Stalbet when friends are joking around with each other, teasing someone, or making fun in a playful way, but without any bad intention. So the word can describe both relaxed hanging out or playful joking between friends. Both capture a very laid-back Israeli social vibe. Words like this are more than vocabulary. They show you the humor, the mindset, and the personality of Israeli culture. When you understand these words, you start understanding how Israelis think and communicate. Now I'm curious, which Hebrew word did you find most interesting today? Write it in the comments. And if you want to keep learning Hebrew the way Israelis really speak, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss new lessons. Until the next time, yalla bye.